Well, a great rendition of our Star-Spangled Banner by a fine youth choir here from Toledo. And we are just about set for hockey. And as is a tradition in the ECHL, after the first of the year, when the calendar turns, the teams reverse jerseys, so the Comets will be in their traditional home whites on the road, and the Walleye will wear dark jerseys. They are wearing blue on blue tonight. And as we take a look at the starting lineups for the Comets, the red-hot Pat Nagel will be in goal. On defense, it'll be Drew Daniels and Curtis Leonard. And up front, Mike Embach, the reigning ECHL Player of the Week, who has been on a tear, Dominique Albergia, and Garrett Mears. Jeff Lurg is back for Toledo, so he will get the start in goal. On defense, as we take a look at the defenseman for the Walleye, it'll be Scott Zarnazan and Jared Nightingale. And up front, A.J. Jenks, the center, Tyler Sakura on the left side, Shane Berschbach will be the right wing. Our officials for tonight's game, the referee is Andy Howard, and the linesmen are Jesse Pletch and Jake Davis. So the Comets have not had much luck lately here in the Huntington Center, hoping to turn that around and complete a perfect weekend of winning 3 in a row. Again, they won the home-and-home series with state rival Indianapolis, a 7-0 thrashing of the Fuel on New Year's Eve at the Coliseum. Pat Nagel with a shutout. They came back to win 2-1 last night in Indianapolis, and then wrapping up 3-3 tonight here in the Huntington Center against Toledo. So the teams come to center ice. It'll be Albergia centering Embach and Mears. And then Jenks will be centering Sakura and Berschbach. A bit of a delay while they get the gate shut at the far end at the goal that Pat Nagel will defend. So Andy Howard is set to drop the biscuit, and we are just about underway here from the Huntington Center in downtown Toledo. Push back toward the Comet zone. It's in the skates of Mears. He tries to poke it ahead, though. Intercepted, and it's dumped into the Comet corner. Racing in and chasing it down is Zarnazan. Now he spins, tries to center, and that deflects off the stick that time of Berschbach. Jenks keeps it in. Funny Karamov behind the boards, and that time it was guided back into the corner by Daniels. Good early forecheck, though, by the Walleye. Zarnazan, who had pinched in from his defensive position. Now along the half wall, they try to center in the feet of Embach, but Zarnazan controls. One-timer that time. Sticked aside. Berschbach put it right on, and Nagel tested early. Mears is pinched off the play by Jenks, who loses an edge. Now the Comets, Embach with a drive. Big pad save that time by Lurg. So the Comets with a good effort by Embach early on. Now the teams look for a change here in the opening minute of play. Cycling it ahead that time was Jordan Southorn, now spinning as Embach. Embach glides along his blue line, feathers in a high backhand pass that's swatted down that time. Kays look to put a little more pressure on. Joel Schwinnard, big defenseman, leaves it for his mate, Bo Schmitz. Now the pass is centered to Dominic Zombo. Zombo tries to split the Comet D, but has his pocket pick. Southorn, long pass served off the boards. Thompson, along the half wall, puts the bad angle shot that slides through the goal mouth. Comets can't keep it in. It comes back to neutral. Sean Sidlowski back to his point. Comes ahead to Southorn, who lets it just deflect off his stick into neutral ice. Slammed back in quickly that time by Bo Schmitz. And the teams will change lines, and it'll be a whistle, and they'll bring the puck back to center ice for a face-off. Kind of a makeshift line here. Michael Leone with Kyle Bushy and Max Gady for Toledo. Two of these guys are primarily defensemen. Leone is a center. Going up against the Kyle Thomas line. Now along the boards, pinched in by Bushy. Gets it behind the net. Gady leaves. Now racing to find the play is Big Will Weber of the Comets. Brock Montgomery, who just came off the injured list last night. Tries to put it to neutral, then he bumps into his man. That time it was Derek Dockin taking the hit. Now Weber again. Bumped off the play that time by Bushy. Kyle Thomas just administers a big body check that time to Leone. Kays, though, are being trapped in their own zone momentarily. Again, behind the net, racing in is Leone. feeds it behind, nobody home, and now Thomas has it deep in his corner, rings it around the boards, and the Toledo player, Bushy, didn't see it as he was going for a change. Racing back is Derek Dokken as again the Comets come out with fresh forces. Dokken along the boards, bumped heavily by Mears. Bergia leaves for Embach. Embach with a big shot, another good pad save. And that time Albergia tries to center the rebound behind the net. Berschbach, his pass is intercepted. There'll be a drive from the point as Leonard, well, this time he'll just dump it into the corner. Mears loses an edge, and that time Embach steps into Nightingale. So a little bit of the physical play picking up here in the early going. Curtis Leonard slides it across. Drew Daniels surveys the landscape, tries to get it ahead to Mears, but intercepted by Jenks. Here comes Toledo with numbers. Berschbach with a shot score. A turnover by the Comets, and the Walleye with tremendous transition. Berschbach saw a little seam at the top of the circle, and a terrific shot that caromed off the post and then past the blocker side glove of Pat Nagel, and the Walleye on the board first as they take the 1-0 lead. Pretty goal by Berschbach. And this is a tough place for an opponent to play behind from, and in a Detroit Red Wing tradition, a squid finds its way on the ice. Well, apparently it wasn't a true squid. Somebody threw a big, fat, happy walleye on the ice. Comets now try to get it deep. Berschbach again with the goal. His 7th of the season. Jenks gets an assist. .309 the time of the goal, so just over 3 minutes in, the Walleye with the 1-0 lead. Now that's dumped into the Comet quarter. Southhorn trying to win the race. Spins behind his net. Manages to poke it past Dominic Zombo, but now Southhorn has to regroup. Caroms it off the boards with hot pursuit by Zombo. Well, again, near neutral ice, Kashirski lost an edge. That time Thompson aggressively pursuing Schmitz. Now a big drive, that time Sidlowski, and a good blocker save by Lurg. Sidlowski has been a red-hot Comet lately. Kays can't keep it in, so Weber has to backpedal. Now he'll just snap it into the corner. Lurg behind the net. Will leave it for Joel Schwinnard. So Schwinnard quarterbacking the breakout, takes a look, fires it way up ahead. Gathered in neatly that time by Dejan Mingo, but he'll leave it back for Schwinnard. That's just dumped deep into the Comet zone, and Soule has to be Johnny on the spot because that was not going to be an icing. Now Montgomery. Shafsma with a good pass ahead for Kyle Thomas. Thomas coming in off the off wing, tries to spin away from his man, but Prochnow pinches him along the boards. Shafsma rubs Mingo off the play, and the puck comes back out to neutral. Shafsma will flip it back to Weber. Soule rips it off the boards, kind of a crazy carom off the side of the net. Racing in is Derek Dokken. Dokken takes a look ahead to Dejan Mingo. Mingo ahead, that's just feathered in that time by Sakura. And now Drew Daniels circles behind his own goal. Puck has popped into the air and still has not cleared the Comet zone. Now it does. Kay is trying to break out with numbers, but Jenks puts his big body in the way and backhands it back into the Comet corner. Leonard takes a peek over his shoulder, leaves for his defensive mate, Drew Daniels. Daniels goes ahead to Embach, but now circling is Berschbach, who scored the goal. Berschbach with speed, slides by Leonard. Berschbach tries to circle around the wraparound. They're saying, is it in or no? Initially, the referee, Howard, waved it off, and he is still waving it off. The light came on, and this near-capacity crowd went wild. And I believe that will not be a goal. Well, Berschbach, who has great speed, whistled around the net. Looked like it was pinched along the post, and Nagel is very adept at getting that pad over there to block the play. And then all of a sudden, after another jab, the goal light went on, but the referee, Andy Howard, was waving his arms from the get-go saying no goal. Well, the Comets clearly did not want to fall behind 2-0 in the early going. 14-18 to go. in the first period, and the ruling is the puck never did completely cross the goal line. The draw is one back. One-timer from the point, right on. Nightingale with a blistering shot, and that smothered into the stomach of Pat Nagel. We'll talk about teams with completely diverse schedules. I talked about this as game 2 of a 5-game road swing for the Comets to start the 2016 portion of their schedule. 10 of the Comets' 14 games this month will be on the road. On the other side of the coin, Toledo will play a dozen games during the month of January, 10 of them here at the Huntington Center. They started the season on a 9-game roadie. Now the K's look to break out. Penetrating the blue line, Kashirski can't catch up with it, and Toledo could have a 2-on-1. Racing in, cross-ice pass. Oh, a great shot that time by Schella, but a fabulous pad save by Nagel. Comets come back the other way. Garrett Thompson going in on Schmitz, who lost his stick, and Schmitz gives Thompson a rough ride. Meanwhile, Lurg makes the save. Now some pleasantries exchanged afterwards. Well, we've got time out here in the first period, 13:35 to go. Toledo leads the Comets 1-0. You're watching My Comets on My
TV Fort Wayne, presented by Parkview Sports Medicine.
Now back at the Huntington Center, Ken Horman here with My Comets on My TV. The K's trail 1-0 as Shane Berschbach netted his 7th goal of the season, 3:09 in on an assist from A.J. Jenks. Off the face-off, Weber pinched in from the blue line, now behind the net. Oh, that time a big hit taken by Derek Dokken as the K's try to dig the puck out. Dean Ouellette with an aggressive forecheck. Now it's Prochnow. Again, Weber pinches in. Spins around Max Gady, and the Toledo fans were looking for a hook. Now again, circling back in his own end is Will Weber. Weber takes a look as he crosses the blue line, tries to feed it ahead. Chipped in by Montgomery. Prochnow takes a big hit from Kyle Thomas, so the K's figure they're going to have to step up the physical play to try to take Toledo off the game a little bit. Last year, the Walleye had an exceptionally speedy lineup, and it's awfully quick again this year. That pass is intercepted by Jenks, but now looking to break out is Montgomery. Montgomery will ring it around the boards. The K's go for a line change. Albergia, who just jumped on the ice, now pursuing. Nightingale caroms off the boards that time to Sakura. Comes back to center, poked off the stick that time of Hamonic. Southhorn just dumps it into the corner. Lurg will flip it off his glove. Berschbach takes a hit that time by Embach, intercepted to the point. Oh, it lands on top of the net. Hamonic just flipped it in. It caromed off a Walleye over the shoulder. A Lurg hit the top of the net, but back the other way. It's Jenks from the circle. A shot and a save that time by Nagel. And then trying to jump on it afterwards, that time was Sakura. Shots so far favor the Walleye 6-4. 12 minutes, 4 seconds to go in this opening period, and the Walleye on top 1-0. Both teams will change lines. Well, after tonight, the Comets have a key road trip next weekend as they will go to division-leading Quad Cities and play the Mallards next Friday and Sunday. They'll wrap up that 5-game roadie on January 13th in Cincinnati on a Wednesday night game. Now again, the Comets looking to break it out. Good pass from Kashirski. Spinning is Sidlowski, but Sidlowski couldn't quite control. Tyler Maxwell starts back the other way, just tries to serve it past Leonard. Leonard and Maxwell battle for it. It comes along the boards. Now Garrett Thompson will start the breakout. Snap it off the boards, and Lurg will watch that go past him for an icing. Now that time Garrett Thompson trying to play an angle pass off the boards. Just a little too sharp, and it wound up being an icing, so the face-off goes back into the Comet zone. To the left of K's goaltender, Pat Nagel, who has been on quite a tear. Nagel is 10-5-2 this season with a couple of shutouts and a stingy goals against average of 2.23. There's a shot that goes through a maze of players by Prochnow right on, and Nagel had to be alert. Great pad save, and again, Toledo has done a great job of pinching the K's into their own end. Now Thomas tries to get around his man. There could have been an interference call there, but on they play. Meanwhile, Garrett Thompson puts the body into Prochnow. Kashersky tries to dig it out, but Thompson still has it on his stick. He's bumped hard by Dokken. Soul pinches in. The bad angle shot deflected away. Lurg, it comes back to the point. Weber's shot goes off of Cody Saul. Now Saul races back to get in on the play. And a good quick stick by Weber breaks up a potential 3-on-2 by the Walleye. Weber circles back, goes back to Cody Saul. Saul comes across to Montgomery. Off the heel of his stick, he just lets it go into the Toledo zone. Circling back is Arnazon. Across to Jared Nightingale, the Toledo captain. Up ahead, Berschbach, who has the goal. Comes back down the slot for Jenks, but intercepted that time. And here comes the Comets captain, Jamie Shafsma. Shafsma tries to saucer pass it across to Montgomery. That's broken up. Shafsma reclaims and circles back at center. Now drops it back. Hamonic cross ice to Southhorn. Up ahead it goes. Here's Mears over to Shafsma. Shafsma right on into the glove of Lurg. Pretty easy save for Lurg that time, and we talk about how great Pat Nagel is. Lurg, who has been up and down between Toledo and the American Hockey League, the Grand Rapids Griffiths of the AHL, the other Red Wings affiliate. Lurg, 12-3 and 2 shootout losses with a 2.01 goals against average. Off the draw, Schwinnard circles behind his own net. Soft pass off the boards that time to Shala. And again, center ice. Comets have it, but it comes back into the zone. Hamonic crisply goes to Mears. Mears' pass momentarily deflected. Southhorn has some ice. Just dumps it into the corner, so a lot of dump and chase right now. Embach steps into Schwinnard. Coming out the other way, though, is Schmitz ahead to Schwinnard. Schwinnard now dancing through the middle, and it squirts into the Comet zone. That time it's snapped away by Pat Nagel to neutral ice. The race is on. Mears with speed pokes it ahead, slides past Leone. Now Mears trying to lean back, still has control of the puck. Mears tries to get it back to Leonard, but now intercepted. Here comes Shala back the other way. And again, the Comets can't clear. Into the corner it goes, and that time, Dokken to Leone. Now the K's looking to break out with numbers. Albergia, who's been playing a center spot, he got the game winner last night in Indianapolis. K's dumping in and go for a change. 9 minutes to go here in the opening period. It's 1-0 in favor of Toledo. Leone now ahead to Mingo. He stood up that time by Leonard. And now Nagel tries to create the transition. Here comes Sidlowski. Sidlowski tries to center to Thompson. Sidlowski spins, still has the puck. Comes back to the point, but it's too sharp that time. And Daniels was zigging when he should have been zagging. And now all of a sudden, here comes Mingo. Tries to leave for Gady, who goes to the backhand, but he's bumped off the play that time by Drew Daniels. Daniels now working against Gady. And the K's again having a problem with the breakout. Nightingale puts the shot right on, stick to side by Nagel. Daniels off the boards to Sidlowski. Sidlowski, cross ice, it goes to Weber. Weber takes the big hit that time by Gady. Now Jenks circles in front of his own net, leaves for Nightingale. Nightingale comes to center to Jenks, broken up briefly by the Comets. Weber bumped off the play. Jenks' pass is too sharp for Berschbach. And that's just chipped high into this big crowd here. And we have a stoppage of play, and we also have a timeout. 7:56 to go. First period from the Huntington Center. Toledo 1.
New Sports Medicine.
But don't forget, Sound Off with the Comets every Monday night, 7:30 on 21 Alive. Tommy Schegler will usually have a segment with head coach Gary Graham and a Comet player. From the Sport One Parkview Ice House, the Thirsty Penguins, Sound Off with the Comets. It'll be 7:30 Monday, January 4th on 21 Alive. Be out there and be part of the live audience, or you can catch it on 21 Alive. Now back to the action, and here comes Schmitz dumping into the Comet corner, bumped off the play by Weber. Soul wins the race from Berschbach, but again, the K's having trouble clearing. Montgomery tries to push his man off the play. Thomas chasing Schmitz, and Schmitz will turn. Good pass ahead to Jenks. Jenks goes cross ice, but kind of into no man's land. Chouinard off the heel of his stick, but enough starch to get it into the Comet zone. Montgomery goes cross ice, collected neatly that time by Thomas. Thomas looks to center, comes across to Shaftsma. That's a little too sharp. And here comes Toledo again on the transition. Tyler Maxwell trying to move it ahead, has his pocket picked by Mears. A sharp pass that time. Albergia just pops it up in the air, and Mears races in and puts a shot right on. Good save that time by Lurg. Kept in by Hamonic, but now it's intercepted, and Zombo moves it ahead. There's another screenshot that time by Zombo. Unfortunately, Nagel dropping down and seeing it, able to smother it. So Pat Nagel has had to be some kind of alert so far here in this first period. Shots now favor the Walleye 9-7. And Toledo bringing another line out. It'll be Leone, Bushy, and Gady up against Willette. And the puck comes back to the point. Shot right on by Nightingale. And again, smothered by Nagel. Well, one of the things during this recent stretch of success by the Comets, especially on their power play, head coach Gary Graham was talking about this, is the Comets have been winning a bushel of face-offs, primarily Shaftsma and also Kosierski. Well, that puck flipped ahead, and it winds up off the penalty box. Toledo was modestly looking for a delay of game call. And are they going to get it? Conferring with the linesman, I think one of the linesmen was waving that it was deflected, but I don't know. It looks like the Comets are going to get a delay of game penalty. Now, the Comets don't believe it, but I believe it is going to be 2 minutes for delay of game. Gary Graham wants an explanation from Andy Howard. It would come at 13:25 here of the first. And I don't think Gary Graham is going to win this debate with Andy Howard. Right now, the Comets only have 4 players on the ice, and they can't believe it. Looks like it'll be Dean Willette who will serve the minor. So Willette serving delay a game when the puck caromed up off the high part of the glass and wound up in the penalty box, strangely enough, where Willette is sitting. So the first power play of the game, and it goes to Toledo. Thomas tries to bump his man Januzan off the play. So Toledo again pinching the Comets in. Berschbach has it. Now loses it, but regathers. Comes along the half wall. Berschbach looking to center. Dances around back to Chouinard, and it hops over his stick. So a break for the Comets as that goes the length of the rink. Chouinard has to circle, and now Toledo has to reset the power play. Comets' penalty kill lately has been very, very efficient, almost 85%. Meanwhile, Toledo is just under 22% at 21.7% in the power play. And another errant pass leads the Walleye to regroup. Albergia steps into Berschbach. Now it's Chouinard, the defenseman, breaking in, comes across to Jenks on the off wing. Jenks banks it off the boards, but very sharply. Sakura collects near the blue line, now dumps it along. Circling along, and it's Berschbach again. Served back to Chouinard, now to the high circle. Shot is caromed off a player. It was off of Sakura. And he almost got a penalty for yanking Albergia down. He, from his knees, is able to clear it the length of the rink. Both teams now changing. 36 seconds left on the Walleye power play. Toledo leads 1-0 as we approach the 5-minute mark of period number 1. For a lot of this first period, the Toledo defense has been carrying the puck. Oh, and there's a big hit from behind, and the Comets are going to be assessed another penalty. And let's see what they call. Looks like it's going to be a boarding call. So Toledo will have a 2-man advantage. It'll go to Mbach. Wow. Well, that's one of the rules they've put in hockey to try to make it safer, is when there's a little space between a player and the boards and you can see both numerals. They don't like to have a player sent head first into the boards. Comes at 15:07. Mbach for boarding, so for 19 seconds the Walleye will have a 2-man advantage and Toledo leading 1-0. A very important face-off here for Shaftsma. Well, it's drawn back neatly by Zombo, but nobody was home as it split the defenseman. So it goes all the way back to the Toledo zone, but Schmitz is racing the play ahead because they want to try to make something out of the 2-man advantage. Into the corner, Tyler Maxwell, now it comes back. Schmitz has it at the point, comes cross ice, that time Prochnow. Prochnow looks to tee it up. Willett comes out. There's a shot that's just barely sticked aside by Nagel as a stick was broken on the shot. Prochnow has it in his feet. Zombo racing in. Time a high wrist shot by Zarnozan goes over the net. Another shot right on, and it's gloved that time. Zombo trying to look for a low corner, and Nagel able to make the glove save. So the Comets now just 1 man down for another minute and 23 seconds. Face-offs so important, it'll be Kashirski against Jenks. .4:15 to go here in this first period. Berschbach controls back to Schwinnard, back to Berschbach, who has the lone goal of the game so far. Berschbach dances in, Jenks, side of the net, works behind, given a shove by Leonard. Now it's rung around to Berschbach. Berschbach back to the point, Schwinnard with a wrist shot, and again the great glove save by Nagel. Leonard trying to shove Jenks out of the way, so at least Nagel would have clear vision to the puck. Shots now favor the Walleye, 12-7. Soul and Weber now come out on defense for the Comets. Kashirski against Jenks. Kashirski neatly wins the draw, but the Comets can't clear. Schwinnard, little backhand pass, goes to Berschbach. Berschbach tries to hit it in front, and a great deflection by Jenks, but another fabulous save by Nagel, who has been really alert here in the first period, and the K's able to clear to neutralize. So it went off the stick of Schwinnard. 44 seconds to go in the Toledo power play. Now it's left back by Zarnazan, who wasn't quite looking for that. Takes some more time off the clock, much to the Comets' delight. And again, that pass is left behind. Dancing in is Berschbach, comes across to Jenks. Jenks along the half wall. Spins. Now fed back to Schwinnard, who comes across to Zarnazan. Zarnazan looking to find Berschbach. The drive, another big save by Nagel. Now good passing on the power play that time by Toledo, and Berschbach set up shop right at the top of the slot. Big low drive, but Nagel has been seeing the puck excellently here in the first period. And he's done a great job of keeping this a 1-goal game. Shaftsma against Jenks. Comets try to control but can't. Now Schwinnard, Berschbach gets it across the shot, and again another great save by Nagel. That time Zarnazan was bidding for a low corner, and Zarnazan with a look of disgust as he skates to the bench. Well, Pat Nagel so far has been the difference here in the first period. Comets came out with an awful lot of hop and put some early pressure on Jeff Lerg, but for most of the latter part of the period, especially with Toledo picking up a couple of power plays, one briefly with a 2-man advantage. A lot of play here in the Comet zone. One-timer that time by Dokken, and that goes right into the chest of Nagel. And now Bushy and Southhorn standing visor to visor after that save. Now just 2 seconds left in the Mbach penalty. He already is on his feet waiting for the gate to open. Well, the K's would love to win the draw and fire a breakout pass ahead to Mbach as he is coming out of the penalty box. First things first. Kashirski neatly wins the draw. And Mbach does come out, so the teams are at full strength. At the flex off the stick of Mbach and into neutral ice. Dokken takes a big hit from Sidlowski. Now Hamonic rings it around the boards behind his own net. Mbach chips it, but right back into the Comet zone. Now Sidlowski over to Southhorn. That's into the feet that time of Bushy. Gathered by Sidlowski and run around the boards. It comes all the way around and to neutral ice. Dumped into the Comet zone, and that probably caromed off a player. So we have a timeout here with 2:14 to go in the opening period. Toledo is outshot the Comets 16-7, and they lead 1-0. You're watching My Comets on my TV. Well, back to the action here at the Huntington Center, and again the puck pops out of play, so it'll be a face-off just outside the Comet zone. Tyler Maxwell against Dominique Albergia of the Comets. Kay is looking to put more pressure in the Toledo end, and most notably on their goalie, Jeff Lurg. Drew Daniels dances in, and the shot whistles not only over the shoulder of Lurg, but up into the netting beyond the glass. Just under 2 minutes to go here in the opening period. And again, the Huntington Center has not been a friendly place for the Comets lately. They have lost their last 6 trips to this building. And talking to the Toledo people when we arrived early and were setting up and getting ready for the game, they've been very excited about their recent attendance. They've got a shot at yet another sellout tonight. A sellout in this building is about 8,000 people. And our last trip in here when we broadcast, back on November 21st, they had a crowd of 8,000. Tonight's promotion is Superhero and Villains Night. So there are a lot of comic book type characters roaming the crowd. .146 to go, face off in the Toledo zone. Kashersky and Jenks. Back to the point it comes. Southhorn shoots that one wide. Thompson chasing his man, that time Dokken. Kay is looking for a centering pass, can't get it. Now the Walleye look to break it out. Berschbach against Southhorn. Comets turn, now Southhorn tries to slide around his man, but good pressure applied by Sakura. Now Garrett Thompson comes across. Kashersky moves it ahead. But again, Sidlowski can't dump it in the corner, and now a little waltz that time with Dokken and Sidlowski. Thompson slides around Jenks. Good cross-ice pass. Sidlowski again having a tough time dumping it deep as that was clogged up by Zarnazan. Nightingale and Sidlowski chase it down. Nightingale comes away with it. A little bit of a delay. Now ahead to A.J. Jenks, who just wraps it around the boards. He heads for a line change. Squirts out to the slot. Shaftsma now ahead to Kyle Thomas with speed. Thomas on the off wing, shoots it into the leg that time of Nightingale, and down he goes. He's wincing in pain. On they play, and it's cleared ahead. And here comes Dominic Zombo. Circles down the slot. That goes into the skate that time of the Comet defender, and again, that will flop up into the crowd. Well, a conversation with the referee, Andy Howard. Is he going to call another penalty? It looks like it'll be another delay penalty against the Comets. Now, this has to be frustrating head coach Gary Graham. The penalty comes at the 1934 mark. So the K's have had all 3 penalties here in the first period, 2 of them for delay of game. Looks like Shaftsma will sit this one out. Well, you'd almost look at this and say the Comets would be lucky to come out of this opening period only down 1-0. Kashersky wins yet another draw. So the Comets, their second delay of game period, down to the final 15 seconds. Jenks will spin in his own zone, leave it for Berschbach. Maybe one last rush for the Walleye, but they're going to have to hustle. Schwinnard tries to dump it in. Looked like an offside, but nonetheless the K's will clear, and the clock will run out here in the opening period. And Toledo, quite honestly, dominating most of the play thanks to some late penalties by the Comets, and they will head to the locker room after the opening 20 minutes with a 1-0 lead. We'll take a break and come back with a brief first period recap. You're watching My Comets on My TV.